Hi, good morning. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was trying to be really efficient and get all the tech bit done so that then I didn't get nervous and overwhelmed and panicky, which sometimes happens. So can you all hear me okay? Good. It's lovely to see you, Tony. And John is here today. Great to have you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you to Margaret for coming. I only met you yesterday and I'm really glad that you've come along. It's great to see you. Hi, Pat. Great to see you too. And hello to Amy. I think you've been on one of my sessions before, is that right? Yes, yes. And also to Ian. It's great to have you all here. So, can you see my slides okay?
Yes,
Cool.
they're beautiful. I can see all your things, like lots of slides.
Oh,
Screens and
that's
stuff.
not what I was supposed to see.
Like, must have an enormous screen because you have all the
I
things.
have an enormous screen. Right, okay, this is actually backfired. Bear with me. That one. That's better, isn't it?
There we go. There
That's
we
it.
go.
There you go. Good, good. Okay, so I'm going to crack on. Lots to get through. So tracking and measuring your website traffic. It's a big topic, but as ever, I like to try and keep things simple and help you understand what data actually is important. And more importantly, like interpreting what they mean rather than having data for data's sake. So, oh, sorry, the animations are still on. I keep meaning to turn them off. Okay, so very quickly, today is an extension of my free community over on Facebook called Simply Visible. And if you aren't in that community, then come along and join in. I'm just going to drop, oh, it's not going to let me drop the link. I'll drop it at the end. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me because we've got some new people in the house, but we're then going to talk about the importance of tracking and measuring tools that you're going to need, and also the most important bit, what does it all actually mean, and what can you ignore for now? And then we can discuss and you can ask me lots of questions, etc. Okay, so very quickly, I've been in digital marketing since 2001, when the internet was still quite new. Love saying that. My favourite module at university was human-computer interaction. And I just loved the whole link between creating interfaces that humans could understand and interact with. And it's just ironic to me that 23 years later, I'm here enabling businesses to get the human and tech side of their websites and businesses working in harmony. So I just think that's quite serendipitous in a way. Okay, so there's more I could say about me, but we'll just leave it at that. I know what I'm talking about, put it that way. It's probably what you need to know. Okay, last time, so I had a break last week, so it's half term. Last time I very briefly touched on the elephant in the room of search generative experience, which is the big changes that are happening at the moment with Google. And very bottom line is it's about streamlining the search process and integrating all this AI stuff that we've been hearing about. And it's not getting rolled out in the UK yet, but it's coming, and it's all about personalization. So you're going to see changes to the search engine results pages, as in you put a search into Google, you get a result back. That is called the SERPs, that page. That is going to start changing as the AI elements come in. But basically, it's about personalization. It's about making the results more useful to the user. And personalization has been in Google for a while anyway. So I just want to say, it's happening. I'm genning up on it. The bottom line is it's still about content. It's all about creating comprehensive content that's aligned with the user's intent or answering questions, etc. So I've been teaching this for ages now. I love that it's making this come more to the forefront. And just to say that SEO is like the stock market, it goes up and it goes down. And you've got to be in it for the long haul, really. So don't panic. I will just keep you informed as and when I hear more. Okay, so visibility on your website. It starts with more traffic, bottom line. And you can't grow what you don't measure. So you need to have some tools in place. And the first step is to get those tools set up, if you don't already have them. And then to sort of benchmark what, if you haven't had Google Analytics set up, then you won't have a benchmark. But if you have got it and you're starting to measure, just benchmark where you're at, because that gives you a point to work from. So the basic tools are Google Analytics, which is also referred to as GA4. And this is your website's performance from a user's perspective. So what the users are doing on your website. Google Search Console is your website from Google's perspective. So it highlights any issues or broken links or things that might be going wrong in the background. Both of those tools are so hard to look at. In the bottom line is they're just not very pretty. And they can make people feel a little bit, confused and like it's too technical, but it isn't. Once you know what you're doing, it's actually okay. And then you've also got Google Business Profile, which is another free tool, which is more about your local search. So they're the ones I would recommend you have set up. If you haven't got them and you want some help, then do let me know. And then there's an all-in-one tool that I use for my business and I use with my clients. And basically, it is pretty. It combines those three tools into one interface and just makes it feel a little bit more manageable. And that's not to say that using the native tool and sometimes going deeper and drilling down into those three separate tools isn't a good idea. Sometimes you have to do that to get a bit more information, but the all-in-one tool just makes it feel more intuitive and easier to understand. Now, I haven't got time to go through that today, but what I've done is here's a little bit of a view of some of the things. I'll just very quickly talk you through it. And if you want to have a demo, a free demo, then I'll put the link at the end and you can book in, and I'm very, very happy to show you more about what it can achieve. So also just quickly to say, at some point in your measuring and tracking journey, you do need to get a paid tool for things like competitor research and keyword research. What I like about this is some of the tools are very expensive. What I like about this is it's a much more affordable way of getting access to some of these features. So features it includes are things like keyword rankings, keyword research first, identifying and selecting the right keywords, tracking those keywords and seeing where they're starting to rank. It's got a lovely content feature with a bit of AI that is linked with the keyword research. And it will map out the bare bones of a blog to just sort of speed up the process, really. And obviously, with anything AI, you've got to rewrite it in your tone of voice. But it's a great way of getting over that writer's block and getting some words on a page and then refining it from there. It's got you can do competitor analysis, which is wonderful. Because you want to know what your competitors are doing, you want to know how to beat them, what you need to do to get above them, so that you're more visible than them and you're winning the work. It's a central place. This is the dashboard. I've kind of done a few sort of screenshots, but it's basically, the rankings, your domain authority, traffic stats, clicks, and also backlinks. Got a really good backlink feature, and then also the local search as well, and more. There's so much more. So yeah, I'll drop that link a bit later if you want to come along and have a demo with me. Okay, so what are we going to measure? Well, first of all, like everything I say, I like to keep things simple. With these tools, there's so much data, there's so much you can glean from them, and it's kind of on a need to know basis. So as you get more adept at it, yes, you might need and want to know more, but at the very start, or early on in that journey, just keep it simple. What happens a lot with, you know, social media and tools in general is that the vanity metrics, you know, oh wow, that looks really good, but it is just it's not actually a metric that's very helpful. It's just, yeah, what does it actually mean? And that's what I think is the problem with some of these tools, is that you can almost hyper focus too much on the metrics and not the interpretation of what it actually means. SEO companies, SEO gets a bad rap because there's a lot of companies out there that will just do a retained service. They'll send a report. You're not seeing any results, or you're not really understanding what the report means. And then, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line, questioning, well, what have I paid out for? What, you know, because there's no kind of enabling or teaching of what it all means. And that's the bit that I feel is important and needs to change. So I'm trying to change that by sharing what I know, and just sort of reassuring you that it's not rocket science. You know, it's once you kind of understand it, it's actually quite straightforward. So what are the things we want to track and measure? In the very top level of this, you simply want to know, where is your traffic coming from? Now, the sweet spot is we all want organic traffic. We want somebody going into Google and typing in a problem or something they're looking for a solution for, and we want our businesses to come up, and they click through and they take an action, and you start working together and you build a lovely long working relationship together, and everybody's happy. The reality is that, as I said earlier, SEO is a long game. Organic traffic, you know, it takes time to get to that point. It's not overnight. And so there are other ways you can get traffic, like paid ads, like driving traffic to your, you know, email marketing, social media. They all have their place, but ultimately we want to achieve that organic traffic goal further down the line. So we want to know where our traffic is coming from. We want to know what content is popular, what is landing, what is resonating, what is being clicked at, what is being engaged with and read. Okay, because then if we can see that we've put effort into a blog or something that has really performed well, we want to do more of that and less of the pages that aren't doing so well. If that makes sense. So knowing what content is popular, and then doing a little bit of like, well, what, you know, asking yourself some questions like, how long are they dwelling on that page? Because if someone's hanging around for quite a few minutes, that's a good signal. What does that tell you about the page they're looking at? And what does it tell you about the pages they're not looking at? Why is that particular content performing well? You know, did you run a campaign? Did you drive traffic to it through an email? Did you have some ads running? All of those things are great. We want to see the organic traffic, and we want to see this journey coming from organic traffic through your website. But all of this takes time and testing and so forth. And then, what traffic is converting. So what I mean by that is a conversion might be simply downloading a freebie, or it might be booking a call, or signing up to your newsletter. Those small actions are conversions. And actually, with the sales funnel, more people coming in at the top, nurturing them down, it narrows, etc. So, if you can at least be getting people coming in organically and then signing up to something and coming into your world, you can then nurture them in other ways until they are ready to work with you. Because, I think, I can't remember who I said this to this week, and if I'm repeating myself, do forgive me. Lurking is actually a really good thing online. You might want to check somebody out for a while and you're not quite ready to start working with them, and you want to get to know them a little bit more. That's what this gives you the opportunity to do, really. So yes, of course, we all want to get good clients, pre-qualified quality clients, and we want them spending money with us. But it's kind of quality clients and for the long term, rather than, I suppose it depends on your business. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, we want them to be working with us, and if we could get those big conversions very quickly, it'd be amazing. But the reality is, it just doesn't work like that. So let me now. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to go into Google Analytics 4. Bear with me, and you may or may not be aware, Google changed. There's a big change last year with regards to this particular tool, and they it used to be called Universal Analytics, and it's now called, which was actually GA3, and then they've now named this version GA4. It's taking a bit, I say it's taking a bit of time to get to grips with. Like anything new, you have to kind of figure out where things are, and they changed the terminology a little bit. So where you might have had, oh gosh, I can't think now. You might have had conversion, it's been changed to something else. So it's taken me a little bit of time to sort of, but bottom line is, it's actually pretty good. And again, once you know what you're doing, even better. So this would be a snapshot when you first come to the tool, assuming you've got it all set up and your website and the Google Analytics are talking to each other and have become friends and the data is flowing. So you can just very quickly see a bit of a snapshot, but then you can go deeper. So at the level that I wanted to teach this at today, I just think it's worth looking at where you're acquiring your data, looking at some content that's doing well, and also funnels, conversions, which you have to set up in here. So you'd have to set it up so that somebody has landed on a page, gone through a little funnel or a little process, ended up taking an action, and that being seen as a conversion.
Natalie, could I
Yes,
just ask you a question, please?
Of course.
In the top right-hand corner, bit
Yes.
your users buy and various things, paid search is quite small.
Where's that?
The fourth one down. Top right corner.
Yeah.
Oh wow, top right corner is we can see it because your people thing is hang on. Sorry, top right corner, but one, beg your pardon. All the people's faces were above this one. Top right corner, where do your new users come from?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So organic search, enormous, but isn't the organic search going to be picking up the people who are sponsoring their ads?
No, because No, organic search is organic search. So that's that we want like a lot of well, because that was kind of what I was gonna start
Okay,
first.
carry on.
John is also a bit of a pro here. So John, if you have any comments, do kind of
Sure.
come
I
in.
mean, it's like we're all like one-eyed leading and analytics is like this the parable of the elephant, where there's the big elephant and there's like five blind people, and each one's got a hold of a different piece of it. And it's like the one guy's got a piece of the leg, and it says the elephant is round and is like a tree. Another one's got a head of the tail. It says the elephant is is long and skinny. So we're all as uh digital marketing pros, Analytics 4 has been quite a big change. The fundamental underlying data model is quite different. So I'll try and keep it at a quite a light level. But essentially, if I understand your question, Ian, what you're saying is, why is paid search so low? Is that your question on this one? Or are you asking about, will organic search?
Well, the reason I'm asking, John, is that whenever I ask people who finish up sitting next to me, how did you find us? They just say Google, which doesn't really help you very much. But if you can try and drill down with it, they invariably say it's the first one I saw. Well, the first one they saw is the one that's sponsored. So that's what I was trying to ascertain what that meant in that listing.
Oh, okay.
Got you. All right. Well, what I'll answer that is, first and foremost, you're dealing with humans. Um, and honestly, most people, especially with search advertising, people will do what people do, and they don't always. I mean, I've heard people say, "I don't ever click on ads," and we're like, "Okay, then I'll show them a search results page and go, which ones are the ads?" But then they can't tell me. So you have all of this weird stuff going on. But ultimately, yeah, what you want to do as far as possible to maximize your effectiveness is be the first result. Generally, the ads are the first results, if there are any ads, because there aren't always ads. And then the search, the organic search will be underneath that, which is what Natalie's talking about now. So in that particular case, it looks like a beekeeping company or something like that.
Yeah, this
particular.
Yeah, this one I brought up because they do paid, whereas a lot of my other clients not necessarily doing paid. So this is the last 28 days, but it might be that they've just not been spending as much on their paid ads anyway. There's so many variables as to what these things can, which is exactly why I want to keep it quite top level, in the sense of these are the different ways you would acquire traffic to your site, right? So organic being they've put something into Google, and the intent of that search has led them to Harry's honey, okay? And then direct is because they know about you already. They know, a navigational search, they know your name, they've heard about you. So we're not so bothered about that. But, it's good to see, I suppose, from a brand awareness thing, that's pretty good. And then you've got your organic social, your paid search, unassigned. I mean, if it's not, that could be an email and they've not tagged, they might have sent an email to their list, but not actually tagged it to then be picked up that it was email. Does that make sense? So anything like that just gets bunged into the unassigned bucket. Referral could be a backlink. Display, don't know that one.
Yeah. So that's in search, you've got basically two kinds of ads. You've got people advertising on Google search.
Yeah.
And then you've got advertising. You might have seen banner ads or things on YouTube, like on YouTube, or the Scotsman, or any other CNN, or any of those other things. You use these Google ads. So you essentially got your advertising people that are searching, which is where Google make most of their money. And then you got advertising people doing other stuff like banners and those sort of things. It's also part of the Google
that's retargeting
network.
John, that's retargeting. And Ian, was that you asking me about that the other day, Ian? Yeah, because you were saying these ads will follow you around wherever you go. That is a much further down the line, but that is a strategy in itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ian, in this case, what's happening, if you just look at the data, this particular client is getting most of their traffic from organic search.
Because they're
only getting and then 13 or 14 clicks on paid search.
Absolutely. They work with me, so I wanted to show it.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you want. You want to get
Yeah.
most of your ads. So like this is great.
Just let the data do the talking, essentially. So yeah.
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 There we go.
Okay, so that would be your where your traffic's coming from. Does that all make sense? Because I appreciate, yeah, good. Okay, then the other thing would be to then start looking at which pages are which content is being engaged with and clicked on. So I happen to know that well, that's their homepage. Homepage is always going to do well because it's very top of the pile. You can see that for the date range, buying honey is another, so that's good. But actually where they've been putting a lot of time and effort has been their beekeeping courses, because they teach and do these wonderful experiences where you can go and learn about bees. You can, if you want to be a beekeeper and you want to get really technical, but you can also go and learn about bees in a more general way. They've really put a lot of effort and time into that. Now, if we were to look at, so here, bee experience, we come over here, can you see, go a bit, 2 minutes 16. So that's indicating that that piece of content is landing. People are looking at that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And also checkout. That's good, because that means that because they've got a little shop on there as well.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to go to, I wonder where their blogs are. Maybe we go to the next page. Here we go. An introduction to beekeeping. How much does it cost to keep bees? So here we're starting to answer questions, and those questions will be blogs. And those blogs, as I've taught you, are the back doorway into your website. Okay, so you're not going for the jugular and doing like big full-on selling. It's a much more helpful way of sharing your knowledge and engaging and making it engaging content and helping to build that connection and show your expertise on the topic. So that's good. That shows that she's got some blogs there that are being engaged with. Less of a now I'm still getting my head around all the conversion and event stuff, but in order to be able to get a revenue figure off the back of one of these is by setting up events, and this is where the conversions come in. So you set up your funnel, and if somebody lands on a page that they couldn't have got to unless they've gone through that funnel, that's a massive tick, and that is a conversion, and therefore you can apply a figure to that. So with blogs, I guess ideally you would want them to take an action, sign up to your mailing list or download something or what, but yeah, that you still want to take them on that journey or get them to pick up the phone and call you or whatever it is. That might be an area that they could tighten up on here. So yeah, content, what's landing. I remember the example I give a lot of was a client is Karen Sutton, the widow coach. And again, forgive me if I've said this before and you've heard it again, but it's always worthwhile. Karen is a widow. She now supports widows through their journey. And when we were analysing her content and data, there was this one bit of content called the second year slump. And it was and initially it's like, oh, that's weird. Why is that blog getting so much interest? And she, having been widowed and gone through this, she said, oh, I can tell you exactly why. It's because the first year, everybody's looking out for you and making sure you're okay. And the second year, they kind of figure that you're okay. So they sort of leave you to it a little bit. And actually, grief, again, massive topic. It isn't one and done. It is, it's something you learn to live with. And so she was finding that these widows were really struggling in their second year. So that was a way of me going, brilliant, okay, let's take that blog and let's make more of it, because that is really resonated. That's really landed with your audience. So let's use that data and do something positive with it so that you can make it better and you can be more in, and that's what I love about looking at the data and then turning that into better content so that you're helping your audience. And that could have been a download or something, or a mini course, I don't know, could have been anything. But that is the beauty of being able to understand what these things mean. So it's not a case of going, oh, brilliant, they looked at that page for 5 minutes. Yeah, but what does that mean? What's that telling us? Well, you as the expert would only know that. That's not something necessarily we would know, but that's where the collaboration working together comes in, because then it's like, oh, well, actually, it could be this. And, oh, okay, well, why don't you do this? And yeah, cool. So events, I don't think I'm going to talk about that, but top level, you want to be able to have a little funnel, track it, keep it simple, be able to go into your stats and go, oh, look, I had 10 people sign up for download my freebie. Brilliant. So what that would tell me, okay, what are you going to do with that now? Now they're in your world, what are you going to do with that information? What do we do to get them to take another step? And that's where email marketing and having a strategy and so forth comes in. I think that's everything that I wanted to share. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to say, open up, ask me more questions. It's good to have John here today as well. Thank you, John. What are your thoughts? Are you feeling overwhelmed, or have I handled that in it's an okay way? Don't panic. Who wants to go?
Natalie, you know how I feel about all of this stuff, complete, novice, and
Yes.
Not scared of it, that's too strong a word, but very wary of it and thinking, oh, I won't touch it because it'll go wrong and then I won't know how to fix it. But actually, you haven't made me want to jump in at the deep end, but it's made me realize that actually it isn't scary. And if you just take it a bit at a time and look at a bit at a time, and the way you explain it, I think, that's why they do it. Yeah. That's what you do to make that happen. I'm starting to see links.
Wonderful. That
brilliant.
So happy. That really does, because as I say, there's so much you could be looking at a report and like, oh yeah, but it doesn't mean anything.
No.
And I just want you
like
to
witchcraft.
Yeah, and that's why SEOs get such a bad name, because it's like, what does it actually mean? What's it mean for my business? How can by me guiding you little by little, step by step, it means that you're learning the ropes, which SEO companies, I'm not here to, bash them today. Maybe another day. But that's what's missing, particularly for small businesses who can't afford to go and be in an expensive retainer. Yeah, good. I'm really thrilled to hear that.
Good.
As Patricia said, for those of us who are not familiar with all this stuff, it is kind of daunting, although it does make sense what you're saying. Just on a purely practical note, the stuff you're showing us this morning made sense reading it. But how easy is it for us to actually find that? How do we get from where we are sitting now, we've finished this meeting, how would I actually go and find those very things you've just been showing us? If I was already on that already, is it a nice, simple way, or is it convoluted?
No, it's not convoluted, but as you have found, Ian, you've had not the best support with all of this stuff until now. So I don't know if you have any of these tools set up. We haven't quite got to that point, because just to give a bit of background, we've just migrated Ian's site over to our hosting, and um, stabilizing it and unraveling some little issues, so that then which was blocking you, wasn't it? You weren't able to get to this kind of stage. So what's going to happen now, we've got that sorted, or getting that sorted, is it's like, right, okay, let's have a look at your tools. What's set up, what's not, what do we need to action? And we get that done. So I don't know the answer to that specifically for you, but Tony, I think you've got all these tools set up. It's just a case of going in, and once you've logged in, you'll see the, yeah. Does that help, Ian?
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
I have my GA4 property set up. It says it's okay, but I'm not receiving data. I'm using SiteKit. It might be outside the scope.
Right, so sorry, I just called you Ian again, Tony. I meant to say Tony, sorry. Did that last time, didn't I? So last time I ran this session, you told me there was a disconnect with your GA4 and we did something. And
Yeah,
I don't think you've installed the code on your website, so they're not friends yet.
well, the SiteKit's producing data.
So SiteKit is a plugin.
Yeah.
I don't like plugins because they slow your website down. So I'm all for keeping things simple.
Yeah.
You don't need SiteGround or whatever you call it. You don't actually need it, but you do need to install the code. So why is that?
Yeah, I know it's weird because
And
it's
you
saying
use
that
Divi,
it's
don't
saying
you?
yeah,
Divi.
it's saying it's connected, but I've got some kind of disconnect. I don't know.
Okay, well, we can talk to me about that. I could probably get you, but basically you need to go and find the source code within your Google Analytics account, and then you need to go into dashboard, no, Divi settings, integrations, or one of those, and paste the code in.
Okay.
Something like that.
I know well that's a good clue.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. It's something like that. And then they'll be friends, and then they'll take a bit of time to get to know each other, and then the data will start flowing, but I don't know without looking at more detail why that plugin is.
And everyone else will get very bored. So
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Cool. All right. So let me just drop a couple of new people have left, so I don't know whether it got a bit techie. But let me just drop those links I promised. Oh, what have I done with it? I think I'm all organised and know where everything is, and then he's just got all these windows open. Okay, so everybody's in the. You're not in the community yet, are you, John? Let me drop that. I must admit, I'll be brutally honest, I'm not really doing enough in there at the moment, but that is going to change. That's the community currently. Then the other thing was, if you wanted a demo of the tool, of the all-in-one tool, that's there. And yeah, and if you want to come and have more of a strategy session or whatever, doing power hours again. So if you wanted to have a bit more of a in focus session with me on your business without going too deep, then that's a great thing to start with. Yeah, you should have had that in my newsletter this morning anyway. Yeah, cool. Any other questions or what? Okay, I've got a question. Can you give me one thing, drop it in the chat, that's been helpful, like one takeaway that you've found? I think I know what Pat's is going to be, but that just always helps me. demystifying. Good. Wonderful. Where to find the blog data? Ah, good. Benefit anyone's time can be direct. Yes. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much as ever. Lovely to see you all. You know where I am if you want to chat. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
Thanks,
All right.
Natalie. Thank
Take
you.
care.